My name is Paul Huffman. I'm the University Archivist for Lindenwood. I guess the most important thing about the cemetery is that the founders of Lindenwood, George and Mary Sibley, they were early notable people on the western edge of the frontier in the 1820s and 30s. Originally, they had settled out near Kansas City, and he was in charge of a trading fort with the Indians. And when they finished up out there, they came back to St. Charles. That's when they set up Lindenwood. Mrs. Sibley, Mary Sibley's parents, and some of her other relatives are buried out there. In particular, Rufus Easton, that was Mary Sibley's father. He was the second Attorney General for the state of Missouri, and he was the first Postmaster General for St. Louis. Postmaster Generals don't mean much now, but back in the early 1800s, is a very important position of power. There's also, I think, the first or second governor of the state of Missouri. His son is buried out there, and just an assortment of people. I guess one of the more unique things that we have out there, there's 3 dogs buried out there. They all belong to President Romer. He was an avid dog enthusiast, and the dogs were very popular here on campus, and when they died, they were buried out there. Originally, when the Sibleys bought this property here, I think it was like 120 acres, the Sibleys were very into the Presbyterian Church, very religious. Because of that, they gave land to the local Presbyterian Church for a cemetery. It wasn't until like the 1920s when Lindenwood bought it back from the Presbyterian Church, because the founders were buried out there. I think just people just ignore it because it's kind of in an odd spot on campus. It's not on the main thoroughfares or anything, but I think it's just important to know that they're there because of their significance to Lindenwood and Missouri history. The most recent burial out there was Norma Fields. She was an English professor here at Lindenwood. She died in 1998. Prior to that, there hadn't been a whole lot of people buried out there, and since then, no one has been buried out there. She was originally from West Virginia, and I think most of her family had already died, and so there was no one to bring her back to where she grew up at to be buried, and because she was so well loved here at Lindenwood, they decided to put her here. There's one tombstone out there in the fenced-in area that I'm not sure whether or not it's from a prank. It's a broken tombstone. It's leaning up against the fence there. It could possibly be a prank. It might have been brought in from another cemetery, or it might not. The person on the stone was actually a board member of Lindenwood, so it might have actually belonged to the cemetery. Every October for a long time during Halloween, somebody that acted like Mary Sibley's ghost would walk up from the cemetery to Sibley Chapel and play a song on the organ. Last few years we've tried to reinstitute that tradition, but nothing crazy abnormal. People have acted like the ghosts as a Halloween tradition, but over the years, a number of different people claim they've seen ghosts here on campus. I don't think anybody's ever claimed that they've seen an actual ghost out by the cemetery. It's usually in the buildings, Sibley Hall, I think Parker and Nichols, and even here in the library, but yeah, never in the cemetery.